we'll have to go back and go, okay, do we still want to hold up a form of self-insurance? Yes. Well, to do that, we'll now have to find the money from elsewhere.
So where does that leave us?
So that leaves us now with reviewing our entire capital program. At the moment, based on the current risk that we want to carry, and with the assumption that we do want a form of self-insurance, we'll still need to raise or find between $400 to $600 million. That will have to come from our capital program. So we'll have to go back up to consultation and figure out, well, what are the areas where people are comfortable with making those cuts?
I still don't get that $600 million when you weren't going to get the money from the airport shares.
We were going to get about, $400 million as the initial establishment, but then it would increase in value over time.
But you weren't going to use that.
We weren't going to use it. But
so why do you need it now, and otherwise you're going to cut things?
So we still need that form of self-insurance.
Right. But,
yeah.
Okay, but if that's still in shares of the airport, so it makes no difference. You either had it in an investment offshore or you've got it in an investment at the airport.
Yes.
If something turned to crap and you needed to get it out, you could sell your shares in the airport urgently and get the money out then. Plus you're getting interest on that money, probably more or equally as much as you would on that fund that you were looking at.
So what if there was a disaster and the airport had been destroyed? We wouldn't be able to take the money from it. So if I go back, so that the problem we were trying to solve is self-insurance, so that in the event of a disaster, we could rebuild some of our city. Because the airport was our biggest asset, it was easier to recycle the value of those shares into the self-insurance fund. We can't do that anymore. I've accepted that.
So going back to this fund, are you still going to invest in this fund by making cuts?
Well, that depends on the level of risk now that we're willing to carry. So we are going to go back possibly through the Audit and Risk Committee and go, okay, do we still want to be able to rebuild the city in the event of an accident? Do we want to increase our risk a bit? That'll determine the amount that we need. If so, we'll need to get that money from elsewhere, which is our capital program.
Okay, you've had a few days to think about this and talk to a few people. What are we going to cut? What are you going to cut? What do you think we're going to lose?
I can't predetermine what those will be.
And you've got a gut feeling of what you're going to lose.
No,
would we lose Well, for instance? I know that we spend a fortune on Well. Would we get rid of Well? Would we say, it's no longer as Well something that we can invest in?
What I would say is everything is going to be an option. Whether we take little bits from here or another big asset or our ground leases, it's hard.
Can you give us some examples on that?
So one example is selling all our ground leases. Another example is reducing our social housing. Another one.
Someone suggested you should get rid of your social housing a while ago and were told I was the only person in the world that wanted you to do that.
Well, I believe there might have been 3 of you eventually, but look, that might be an option now, unfortunately. Certainly not what I wanted, but if we want to be able to insure our city, we have to seriously look at that.
Surely there would be a little difference with what would happen to an airport under an earthquake than would happen to your social housing under an earthquake. You see what I'm saying? Either investment was just going to be just as big a risk.
Yeah.
So why have you not thought about selling your social housing and let the government do it?
So, well, we've had in the past, but as we've seen, the government's put their social housing program on hold. We still want to be able to provide. It's been our council's call to have social council housing and be able to provide for our Wellington tenants. That's a commitment, and it's certainly one that's important to me.
So just cutting to the chase, you could possibly, under one of these plans, sell your social housing?
It might be. It's not what I want to do, but as I said, everything's on the table now.
How much do we lose a year in social housing?
I'd have to come back to you about that. I'm not quite sure.
I remember the figure $1 million a week. Am I right or am I wrong?
I've never heard of that figure before, but I'll go back and get it.
Okay, and listeners, please make sure I've just heard that somewhere, that it's a significant amount. How much does the council spend in a year on social housing? What we put in our entire capital program is about $500 million. $500 million?
Yeah.
And we could sell that. Stock. Someone told me, and rightly or wrongly, correct me if I'm wrong, someone told me that we could sell our social housing for the same value as we sell the shares in Wellington Airport.
We could.
So one is costing you a lot of money, one of you is actually getting you a return, an investment return. How does that not make pretty damn good sense?
Well, like I say, everything's going to be on the table, including that. I would prefer not to sell, our homes for our most vulnerable, and the government would have to be willing to buy it as well.
I've been told that one of the things that you're absolutely non-negotiable on is the Golden Mile.
Absolutely.
So no matter what happens over the next 12 months, no matter how bad a situation we're in as a city, over the next 12 months, the Golden Mile is non-negotiable and starts work and it's going to get completed at a cost of about $140 million to us.
Yes, so I'd say three areas are non-negotiables for me. Water, so our $1.8 billion into water infrastructure, and then eventually the regional model, absolutely cannot change. Two is transport and the Golden Mile. That is co-funded at the moment. So if we lose that project, we lose millions of dollars. And
so what if you went to the government and said, look, you've told us to pull our heads in. We don't have the money. We want to be smart here. Can you keep your funding in place for 5 years for us to get back on our feet? Would you be prepared to do that?
No, because in that case we're kicking the can down the road. We're leaving. Everyone agrees that.
But you're the one that's telling us we're in trouble. So if we're in trouble,
no, I didn't say we were in trouble. I said that we have to go back to look at our books and see how else we can put up some self-insurance. A lot of our people need our streets to be redesigned to be friendly towards pedestrians, bikes, public transport. That is happening. If we leave it longer, it gets much more expensive.
Just so I'm perfectly clear on this, you would be prepared if you have to, selling social housing,
no,
but you're
I
not
didn't say that either.
You said you would look at it.
I said everything's on the table.
But you said Golden Mile's not on the table.
Well, that's because that's something that I strongly campaigned on.
Well, then you can't be sitting on the fences there, Mayor. I need to know, if all things turn to custard, you were prepared to sell the social housing, but if all things turn to custard, you're not prepared to stop on the Golden Mile.
I am currently not prepared to sell our social housing.
Okay. But you said it was on the table.
Well, everything's on the table.
Well, Golden Mile's not on the table.
No, it's on the table, but I'm not going to let it happen.
Okay. But you said to us that you weren't going to let the sale not happen in the airport, and what happened?
Yeah, exactly.
So you lost your vote. You've lost the majority. So if the majority comes to you tomorrow and says, we don't want the Golden Mile, what happens then?
So, well, then I would lose it. But I'm confident that that's not going to happen. But you
were confident on the airport share sales.
Yeah, I was, but then 3 councillors just changed their minds. So
this is you personally saying that the Golden Mile can't go ahead, not the Wellington City Council and you as Mayor saying it can't go ahead?
Yes.
Okay. So I've got that perfectly clear.
Yes.
So if that's another vote that you take, if you take this and take it to council, and the council turn you down, which you did, to be fair, on the airport sale shares, because
I would have to accept that because that's democracy.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying, I guess, perhaps this is a more accurate way to say it. I will fight tooth and nail to keep our water, to keep the Golden Mile, and actually to keep social housing. I understand I'm just one vote.
Did you fight hammer and nail, to your expression, to sell the shares in the airport?
Yes. Yep.
You weren't there for the week, the final week of the discussions. You weren't at council, were you?
I was working from home.
Okay. So who was doing the final negotiations on that? So
my office, and I have very talented staff. So at different levels, it was, it's me, it's them, talking to different people and negotiating a way forward. We didn't get there, and it's okay. We just now have to go back to the drawing board.
Why are you so hell-bent when you see what's happening in Thorndon, when you see what's happened in Island Bay 20 years ago or 15 years ago, to do what you want to do with the Golden Mile?
Because I believe in these transformative projects. Yes, they're difficult, and yes, I am sorry that businesses have suffered as a result, but this is what change is like. When you look overseas, transport projects like this, they generate this sort of difficult, and it does create a bit of a division, but once it's finished, once it's settled in, people wonder why we didn't do it sooner.
Take a short break. You're with Wellington Mayor Tory Whanau on the program for an hour. If you've got a question you'd like, text us through 9292 and we will take calls shortly. It's 18 minutes past 10.
iHeartRadio is like when you were given the keys to the family car. You're in charge because you can choose your music, your radio and your podcasts.
Hi, Miles Gaisley, Wellington City's only Mitsubishi dealer. Would you like a new Mitsubishi Outlander PHEV and get $5,000 cash back? At Gaisley's you can. The next generation Outlander plug-in hybrid electric vehicle is here with more power, more performance and greater driving range. 5 or 7 seats, 84 k's of pure electric driving range and only 1.6 litres per 100k of fuel economy. Available across our current stock of Outlander PHEV models, only at Gaisley Mitsubishi by the Basin Reserve or online at gaisley.com.
Tickets are on sale now for the 2025 ASP Classic. World-class tennis right here in New Zealand as top international stars compete. It's New Zealand's premier sporting event with live entertainment, gourmet food and a vibrant atmosphere. It's all about sport, style, entertainment. The 2025 ASP Classic. Tickets sold out last year, so grab yours now at aspclassic.co.nz.
Who can steal you a deal?
Total Span can.
Shake a leg and enjoy great savings until the end of October when you steal a deal at Total Span. Get great savings on kit set garages, farms, farm sheds and commercial buildings. Custom built the way you want. Hurry, October only. Call 0800 Total Span or visit totalspan.co.nz. T's and C's apply.
Who can Total Span? You want a shed with real appeal, a shed with steel appeal. You want farm building specs and designs.
There's never been a better time to build with KiwiSpan, because right now you'll score a free Icy Tech 70-litre chili bin. Relax as your trusted local KiwiSpan team brings your dream shed to life so you can chill. Literally, T's and C's apply. Contact KiwiSpan and get your project started today.
And right across the land, that's KiwiSpan.
Guess what? We can move into the new place next week.
That's cool.
But I've run out of packing boxes.
That's not so cool. Did you know that Cool Moves has eco-friendly, heavy-duty packing crates for rent? They're stackable and nestable for easy and safe transportation. Plus, you get free delivery and pickup with the rental cost. How cool is that? Find them in the box shop at coolmoves.co.nz because a cool move is a smooth move.
The All Blacks are looking to end the year on a high as they hit the road one final time for 2024.
The All Blacks score a try!
Listen to News Talk ZB for every All Blacks match live with our voice of rugby, Elliot Smith.
And the All Blacks!
Japan in Yokohama, England at Twickenham, Ireland in Dublin, France in Paris, Italy in Turin. The All Blacks 2024 Northern Tour with Forklift Solutions. Coming soon on iHeartRadio and News Talk ZB, your home of sport.
Wellington Morning's Wellington Mayor Tory Whanau in the studio from 10 till 11 o'clock. You can call and ask a question shortly or text a question through, and if we think it's a really good question, we'll ask. If it's not, we won't. Tory, you campaigned on the unity and bringing the council together. This is the most bitter vote in years. I mean, I was watching you. Your body language wasn't good. I didn't think it was good. Sorry.
I would totally disagree with
Okay.
that. I think I was cool, calm, collected.
Okay, well, that's cool, calm and collected, but that, with no passion or no energy like you normally have. Do you think, because of this vote, that you personally have failed?
I wouldn't say failed. I would say it's a setback. Because, again, I was always focused on a successful long-term plan, and we got there. We now have to take parts of it back. But, you know, to be honest, I woke up the next day feeling okay about it.
Did you go to work the next day?
Yeah.
Did you? How much blame do you
asking me that?
Well, I mean, you know, it was a pretty major knock.
Oh, yeah, no.
I mean, it was the first time I've watched council meeting for 3.5 hours. It was a pretty major knock.
It was
brutal.
Yeah.
It was brutal.
No, I had media interviews the next day, just got back into work.
How much do you take it personally?
It's policy, so I don't take it personally.
But it's you are the face of Wellington. It was what you wanted to achieve.
Yes.
And it didn't happen.
So
how can you not take that personally?
So I wanted to achieve a successful long-term plan. That is now paused, but I'm confident we're going to get a successful long-term plan again.
How many of the councillors have you personally talked to since that vote?
I would say I've spoken to all the Labour Greens and a couple of other councillors.
Okay.
I'd say most of them.
You have? And what's their reaction been?
It's so, you know, I contacted, especially the ones where it's been tense for a while in our Labour Green camp. I got in touch with them and said, hey, no hard feelings. I accept the vote. What I'm keen to do is focus on how we move forward to get the most successful long-term plan possible.
Do you think you'll get them back on board?
Yes, absolutely. Well, we've already agreed to meet later this week.
Okay. Some are telling me privately that they won't get back on board and this is a major rift. Do you not agree? That's not the vibe you got?
Well, yeah, that's not the reaction that I got on Friday.
Have you heard from anyone at government?
No.
Simeon Brown hasn't called?
No.
No one from government's called?
No.
Are you concerned with your relationship? What about email?
No.
Nothing? No contact?
No.
Are you concerned that your relationship with the coalition government now is even on a shakier grounds? I mean, basically that they said everything's on hold until they get this vote. Now this vote's been through. Do you think that you might see something from them?
I'm not expecting anything.
You're not?
No.
Yeah.
I mean, because we're still following our legislative process, right?
But it's a mess. I mean,
it's not a mess.
Tory, I watched that. I watched that. Well, it's a mess.
No, it's not a mess.
You do not have a long-term plan, and your council is at very best agitated.
So let me say this: the airport decision was probably the most difficult decision we've made all term, and it's
what more difficult than Reading's?
Yeah, absolutely. And because this one has generated a lot of tensions, emotions, external campaigning. So naturally it was always going to be uncomfortable making such a serious decision. But I chaired council through respectfully, knowing that there would be those tensions. My focus was to keep it, in control without so much lashing. The vote lost, but
what
now
confuses me as a Wellingtonian is that you really struggled to find your success the way you want it. You really wanted Reading Cinema's deal to go ahead, fail, didn't get it through. Not you personally failed, but it didn't go through. Personal struggles, the airport deal, it's not looking that great, is it?
So if we do look at my successes, if I may.
Yeah, of course.
So I've accelerated the cycleway network over 26 kilometres, $80 million under budget in our long-term plan. I passed the district plan, which has always been a very difficult project. So we've enabled tens of thousands new homes in the city. And I've also, even though the government wanted to completely remove Let's Get Wellington Moving, I was able to retain the Golden Mile through negotiation.
You see, for me...
I'm pretty proud of that.
Can I just
also, one more thing. $1.8 billion into water infrastructure, the most we've invested.
Okay, we give you that. I'll give you that as a win. Cycleway, walkable things, probably a slight win, but wasn't set up by you. It was all designed before you, but not that popular, really.
It's popular amongst people who want cycleways. Probably not with your audience.
Well, it's not about my audience. It's about my people. It's the people of Wellington. It's how popular do you think it is on Thorndon right now?
Well, it's in. Again, we're in construction.
I want you to be honest here. I mean, how popular do you think those cycleways are in Thorndon right now?
They won't be popular until the program's finished.
Well, there'll be no one there. By the time the program's finished, there'll be no businesses there. They'll all go collapse and broke and gone.
Okay, Nick, you don't need to yell.
I wasn't yelling.
You were yelling.
I was getting emotional.
Just be calm.
All right, sorry. I apologise if you thought I was yelling at you.
No, Again, like I keep saying, when you're building cycleways, when you're rebuilding streets, they are not popular at the time of construction and transition. But eventually when it's done, people really appreciate them. This happens everywhere, all over the world. Right
now, the people in Thorndon are really struggling.
Yeah.
You're going to get rid of that problem and you're going to have no one in there. You're going to have everybody leaving and go, and then you're going to start on Wellington, on the Golden Mile, and then they'll all be wiped out and gone as well. You're making some really strong assumptions of what's going to happen. Based on what we're seeing, Tory. I'm not pulling this out of my backside. And what I'm Bordeaux, saying, now you even got rental places closing down. And now what I'm saying, this is unfortunately one of the downsides and a natural part of transition. But I know it's not popular. That's not why I got into this role. How does that change from there to the Golden Mile? You say I'm making accusations about Golden Mile. I'm a businessman on that Golden Mile. I know what damage that's going to do. And I'm not yelling. I'm being very emotionally correct on it.
And, we'll continue to work with our local businesses to make it as least painful as possible. But, since I campaigned to become mayor, and ever since I've been the mayor, I've never wavered on my support for that program, and I'm not going to change my mind.
Okay, that's fine. It is 29 minutes past 10. Tory Whanau, Wellington Mayor. She'll be back to take your calls and some more questions.
Kia ora, I'm Sylvie, Chief Evangelist at MyHR. I'm here with MyHR client Josh Townsend, CEO of Zephyr Drinks. Josh, how has MyHR helped your growing business?
MyHR was a massive saviour for us in terms of managing our HR systems. It gave us confidence that all of our employment agreements were up to date, legally current, and were going to be updated when required. It also allowed us to integrate all onto one clean system and gives us access to anytime support, which is invaluable for a small, fast-growing business like ours.
Search myhr.works for more.
What will help your business now and into the future? For the right cloud strategy, robust connectivity and best-in-class cybersecurity services, talk to the technology experts at Cordia, because our future is all about you. Cordia.co.nz.
Last year, one lucky winner walked away with $10 million in TAB's Everest Mega Millions. Will you be this year's winner? Sign up to TAB today for your chance to win. TAB, get your bet on. T&Cs apply. R18, bear responsibly.
Pop into Preston's for their weekly specials. This week includes fresh New Zealand whole beef strip loin, sliced for free. It's perfect for grilling, pan frying or the barbecue. Beef strip loin is tender, juicy and packed with bold beefy flavour. This week Club Card members pay just $22.90 per kilo or $23.90 for non-members.
Preston's Master Butchers, delivering you the freshest cuts for 120 years. Paramoana Street, Porirua, and online at prestonsmasterbutchers.co.nz.
Step into excellence every time you step into your kitchen. Whether it's the heart of your home or your inner sanctuary, Ace Kitchens Wellington is your go-to destination for cutting-edge kitchen designs that blend functionality with flair. Whether you're whipping up a family feast or hosting a dinner party, their bespoke kitchens make every moment a joy. Ace Kitchens make it easy with their depth of knowledge and attention to detail. Contact Ace Kitchen and Laminates today, your trusted kitchen partner.
Hi Jane, it's Mum. Dad was rushed into hospital last night. He'll be okay though. He's in good hands now.
You never know when you or your loved ones might need hospital care. At Wellington Hospitals Foundation, we're all about making good health care even better. We're backed by people like you who help fund life-saving medical equipment and support so that our hospitals can provide the best possible care when you need it most. Make a difference with a one-off or regular donation today at whf.org.nz.
Live from the capital, Wellington Mornings with Nick Mills and Wellington Airport. Daily Qantas flights to Brisbane available now. News Talk ZB. News Talk ZB headlines.
Mai te 10 mega Pitoni, Upper Hutt and Porirua with you all the way on your spring clean. New Zealand First is on a campaign to drive more infrastructure funded via foreign investment. Leader Winston Peters is proposing a $100 billion infrastructure fund for long-term builds. Judith Collins is set to reiterate New Zealand's support for Ukraine during a NATO defence ministers meeting. She departs today for Singapore to attend cybersecurity meetings as minister responsible for the GCSB before travelling on to Brussels. And another alleged assassination attempt on Donald Trump. Police have intercepted a Las Vegas man at a checkpoint about 800 metres from Trump's Coachella rally in California. The 49-year-old was carrying a shotgun, a loaded handgun and a high-capacity magazine. Today's weather, some early heavy rain and surface flooding and some very strong southerlies. Should be easing to a few showers this morning. And food trucks to foodstuffs. Why lucky taco is no feat of luck. Read that story at NZ Herald Premium. Nick.
Thanks, Max. We are live with Wellington Mayor Tory Whanau. Tory, I want to ask you about some business stuff. Let's, talk the business in the city. Bordeaux Bakery is shut down, yes. I believe they hadn't really changed with the times and they didn't adapt in my view, but the owner said their revenue was down by 60 to 70% after work started on Thornton Quay, the car parks were removed. It's just another business blaming the council's decisions when closing, and there has been too many of them.
Yeah, there's been a couple. And
a couple?
Well, that we've seen be quite...
I think we're close to a couple dozen. When you actually boil it down, a lot of them have said car parking, stop there, changes, all changes have prevented them from trading profitably.
Yeah, and I am it is a real shame and very unfortunate that happens. But again, so, the changes in the streets and the car parks are one factor. There are still all these other factors like public service cuts and general economic downturn. So it's a perfect storm for some of these businesses, and it's.
But surely the council should be doing something to actually ease that. Surely the council's ability to actually keep them trading by letting people park out the front of them and making it easier for people to get them. Surely that's something the council could do. Yes, we all agree that things are tough in Wellington, but surely you should be on their side, not against them.
So I'm not against them. I'm for our Wellington people, and a lot of our people want more effective public transport, safe cycleways and walkable streets. During construction, yes, it's going to take out a number of car parks, and it's unfortunate, but this is where the world is going. This is where other cities are going, and it is hard, and I fully acknowledge that. But again, this is just, one of those downsides of meaningful change.
When you put your head on your pillow and try and get to sleep at night, do you actually think to yourself, maybe we as a council have gone too far on removing car parks in the city?
I don't.
You don't?
Because the thing is, and I've talked to a lot of the workers on the ground and those managing these major construction projects. If you keep pausing them, it even becomes more expensive. You're paying those contract fees, you're delaying it while inflation is going up. It just becomes a significantly more expensive project. It becomes much more painful for businesses in the long term. We just have to get it done as quickly as possible, like a Band-Aid, and then accept change. But this is what's happening.
Band-Aid? You don't need no Band-Aid. You need a little bit more than Band-Aid, I would suggest. But anyway, let's move on. The council has a policy to remove graffiti both for public and private buildings. It came out a few weeks ago that some councillors on your council asked for the pro-Palestine graffiti to remain up, and you seem to be supportive of that. Really?
Yeah.
So you're okay with graffiti on my building? So
I'm okay when it comes to there's a difference between like
a pro-act or a pro-New Zealand First to a pro-Palestine?
No. More, so officers, it is to their discretion what they remove, and graffiti should absolutely be removed if it's explicit, racist and harmful to particular groups. The thing about Wellington City,
Palestine support.
You and I have a different view, I would say, when it comes to graffiti. I'm a huge fan of street art and graffiti art. I think it's wonderful, and I think it adds to the diversity of our city and our city's art scene. So yes, I am genuinely supportive of it.
So you're okay with people putting graffiti on the front of my business or other business people's business?
I think if someone is trying to make an artistic statement, and these pieces of graffiti aren't targeting one of your bars, so to speak. We're talking about spaces in the public area that are actually made for public art. That's where most of it is going. I do support that.
So that's okay for if you walk past, go back to the council, walk past one of my, and you'll see it. You'll see it quite graphically because today I haven't painted over it. So that's okay.
I'm not talking about tagging, like general tagging on private buildings. I'm talking about public art, which is what you asked me about.
Okay. So Palestine flags is okay?
Yes, I think it's okay.
On private buildings?
No, I think they're on public land.
Okay. What if it was on a private building?
Well, I think a conversation needs to be had with the owner of that building.
Okay. So you think that's okay? I'm just trying to work out a conversation, I mean, surely if someone's putting stuff on a private building illegally, that should be arrested and fined.
Oh, I think that's a no.
How would you like it if someone went past your house today?
I'm going to ask you to calm down just a little bit more. Sorry.
I'm just asking you a question,
and I'm trying to answer the question.
So can I ask the question?
Yeah.
If someone went past your house, you live in a pretty, front on house place area, and tagged your house, that's okay with a Palestine flag?
No. I told you.
But what about they put a Palestine flag on it?
No. So when it comes to private property, we really ought to keep That's not okay, because it's actually the owner that needs to clean that up. That wasn't really the original question, though. We're talking about public art on public land and council areas where political art is put up. I'm okay with that. When it comes to tagging private property, that's completely different.
Okay. At the airport vote, I don't want to harp back onto this, but it's something that's sort of in the back of my mind. Last Thursday, there was a lot of talk about the council's relationship with mana whenua. There are 2 unelected mana whenua representatives who have voting rights on the council committee, but not the full council. One of them, Holden Hohaia from Taranaki Whanau, said that the airport vote could have irreparably damaged the relationship with the council. Can I just take a short break? I want you to think about that, and I'll come back with your answer, please. It's 20 minutes to 11.
Heard something that shouldn't have been on the radio? You can make a formal complaint. Complaints should be in writing within 20 days of broadcast, online at newstalkzb.co.nz, or by post to the Complaints Manager, Private Bag 92198 Auckland. If you're not satisfied with the outcome, or if it's a privacy complaint, you can go directly to the BSA. For more info about broadcasting standards and the complaints process, visit bsa.govt.nz.
So there I was, parked at a swimming hole just north of Kaitaia, and I kid you not, the place was crawling with crocs. Those things should stay in town, on the feet of mocha-sipping city slickers, mate. They've got no place inside a premium camper trailer like me. And there's only one insurer that protects those unwritten rules of off-grid camping. Star Insure. It's the insurance your camper trailer would choose to help you escape the ordinary. starinsure.co.nz.
Hi Jane, it's Mum. Dad was rushed into hospital last night. He'll be okay though. He's in good hands now.
You never know when you or your loved ones might need hospital care. At Wellington Hospitals Foundation, we're all about making good health care even better. We're backed by people like you who help fund life-saving medical equipment and support so that our hospitals can provide the best possible care when you need it most. Make a difference with a one-off or regular donation today at whf.org.nz.
My granddad dropped dead of a heart attack. My dad had one a couple of years ago. And my uncle, he had a heart bypass last year. It's not looking too good for me then, eh?
Even if your family has a history of heart disease, you can still beat the odds. Start by having a heart checkup at Dominion Clinic. Wide-ranging medical exams, blood tests and ECGs can tell you how at risk you are and if lifestyle changes need to be made. Dominion Clinic. See us when you're well to stay well.
The hard questions and the analysis. It's Heather Duplessis-Allen Drive.
I feel like councils don't actually realise right now quite how brassed off we are with them. So taking the mickey with their 19% rate rises, and they're building $84,000 bike racks, and they're putting plants on top of things. They're doing all this crazy stuff. And I don't think that we've ever been this brassed off with them.
Heather Duplessis-Allen Drive with One New Zealand. Back today at 4, only on News Talk ZB.
So sorry, Tori, I had to take a break, but I want to know how damaged the relationship between the council and iwi is, because there was some pretty scathing comments after Thursday, wasn't there?
Yes, and it probably even up to the meeting. So I've been meeting with our Tākaihere iwi leaders and our Pauiwi, constantly up until this point, and they'd made it very clear not to exclude our Pauiwi from that decision, because it was a major LTP decision. They expressed, the damage that it has done to the relationship. So my next priority is to repair it, and I think it's repairable.
Do you want to see the situation where they both have voting on the full council?
I would love to see that.
What do you think the people of Wellington would say to that if it went to a referendum? Which we are told it's going to.
It's going to referendum. So when the Māori ward went to consultation, way back when, it had a 96% support level. So for Wellington City in particular, they are hugely supportive of iwi representation when it comes to legislation, and it means that we are meeting our obligations as a treaty partner.
Are you just saying that because your vote with the airport would have gone through if they had the chance to vote?
Oh, absolutely not. It's nothing to do with the airport. You know, let's not forget, I too am tangata whenua. I have always been a supportive of honouring te tiriti, and I've been quite proud actually. Up until last week, you know, that was a bit of a dip, but we can get back on track. I've actually always been proud of how the Wellington City Council has handled working with iwi.
Okay, let's go to a couple of quick calls and some questions, please. Peter, you have a question for Mayor Tory Whanau?
I do, yeah. How much Tory are we spending or have we spent so far on cycle lanes and crossings, roughly?
Gosh, I'd have to go back and remind myself.
Okay.
I know in the long-term plan we'd allocated about $110 million.
Plus what we've already spent.
Plus what we've spent, which I just don't have at the top of my head.
Okay, thanks Peter. Glenn?
Nick, hello. I won't call you mayor because you're not my mayor. And when are you going to start getting rid of the 690 deadbeat staff members you got there? You're so bloated and staffed you can't get anything done.
I'm going to cut you off there. That's incredibly rude and unacceptable to talk about our staff like that.
I agree. Amelia, good morning.
Hi Nick. Good morning, Tory.
Good morning.
The question I've got is that Newtown to the city is a blueprint for failure of outpatients, patients, residents, businesses throughout the city. How is the City Council going to compensate the businesses when they're losing tenants that are part of commercial precincts 3.7 times the rate of residences? How are you going to gain that back in the city that's going downhill?
So the question is compensating businesses. We're not going to do that.
Oh, you said you were looking at compensating businesses in Thornton. But the
no, I wasn't. I wasn't.
I'll take that on board. But if you've got businesses from Newtown right down to the Golden Mile through to Thorndon closing down, who are responsible for paying 3.7 times the rate of residences, how are you going to get that money back when the city's going downhill? That's my question.
So the city is not going downhill. I need to push against that. There are thousands and thousands of residents who love the cycleway along Adelaide Road. We've heard from residents from Newtown who like the way the new parking structure has been set up. Yes, we know that some businesses have struggled with these changes, but again, this is what change looks like. This is what we're going to do to the city.
Will we have a city left?
Yes, we do, because we have an amazing city.
But we looked at the fast forward track that the government's taking. 8,000 properties been built. None of them were in our CBD. None of them. So there's going to be all these houses being built all out. This whole plan was based on us all living in the city.
Yes.
But we're not.
Yes, and that's because we need to, I think...
And the government's plan is to fast forward all these places in Plimmerton and Pukerua Bay.
And that's fine. And with our plan, with Council's plan to move the city forward, we still currently have a forecast of around about 50,000 people moving to Wellington over the next 30 years. We do need to build more homes to make them more affordable, and we need to change our streets to make them much more people friendly. We just recently had a Japanese delegation with the Mayor of Sakai here who thinks our city is wonderful. A lot of international people think our city is wonderful.
It is a beautiful city, Tory. There's no question that it's a beautiful city. It's what we're doing to it. Can I just take a break? Can I just take a break, please? Okay. Sorry, and then you can come back and have... So 12 minutes to 11. You're listening to Wellington Mornings with Tory Whanau in the studio.
Hear what Kiwi sports legend Dame Susan Devoy has to say about taking nutrient rescue.
It's, for me, been a game changer. And it's about taking a product that I know has real benefit for me without having to take a million different pills and potions. It's natural as best. Gives you the confidence to know you're doing the right thing.
See why Dame Susan recommends Nutrient Rescue. Go to nutrientrescue.nz.
One should not automatically assume that one's automatic transmission will automatically go on being automatic.
Your vehicle's automatic transmission needs regular TLC from your automatic choice, Hutt Automatics. A highly trained team who only do automatic transmission servicing, repairs and diagnostics. Every 40,000 Ks you should automatically book your vehicle for transmission servicing. It could save you thousands of dollars in repair bills later. Hutt Automatics are the automatic choice at huttautomatics.co.nz.
Today on Business Desk, Turning the Tap. In a new series, founding editor Patrick Smelly examines the replacement for Three Waters. What next for such key infrastructure? Investors Alan Gray and Accident Compensation Corporation up their stakes in retailer KMD brands. And why not properly regulating property managers, who oversee millions of dollars, is illogical. Business Desk, your deep dive into New Zealand business, the markets and the economy. Subscribe today at businessdesk.co.nz.
Tile Trends. Want those beautiful new tiles without the wait? Tile Trends has all the latest trends in stock now. No wait, shop today. Tile Trends open 7 days on the Esplanade Petone and 6 days on Marion Street in the city.
Tile Trends. Who says you can't get perfection? Come to Foxton Beach Holiday Park, where every element has fallen into place perfectly. It's got carbon zero status, river walks, cycleways, and a bird sanctuary. There's cabins, self-contained units, and campsites situated complete with adventure playgrounds. Next to the Manawatu Estuary, where you can get immersed in nature. This wonderland allows humankind to flourish. Young and young at heart thrive at Foxton Beach Holiday Park. Let your adventures begin. More info at foxtonbeach.info.
Kick breast cancer to the curb and volunteer for the Pink Ribbon Street Appeal this October. Pick a 2-hour shift at a time and location that suits you to help the thousands of women diagnosed with breast cancer. Sign up at pinkribbonvolunteer.org.nz.
Yesterday on Q&A, the Mayor of Christchurch said that 25% of their total revenue taken from rates is on debt repaying. What's ours?
Our debt at the moment is about $2 billion.
And what percentage of our rates bill is directed to repaying the debt?
Well, so in terms of our debt, we usually keep it at about 225% of the rates that we bring in.
Okay.
In terms of from the actual rates bill, I'd have to come back to you.
Okay. Is it like a figure that you've seen before?
Yeah.
Is it major? Is it scary? I mean, I thought 25% in Christchurch would, almost double the population of Wellington was extremely high.
No. Sorry, what's your question?
Well, I'm just saying, do you think it's high, the debt level that we're carrying?
No,
and
no.
what percentage of our council money, our rates money is just used just straight on recuperating, paying debt?
No, I think, debt funding a lot of projects over time is actually kind of necessary, especially when you look at our water infrastructure. We don't really have a choice, but it's also, we're lucky that we've got the legislation in place to allow us to do that.
Okay, do you think you could get someone to come back to us? I'm sure our listeners would like to know what percentage of it is.
I've just texted my team now, but I'll come back.
A quick one before we let you go. I started the show by saying you said that when we first met before, when you were standing for mayoralty, your great asset was building a team and actually, being part of a really united team. That is not what I saw under any description on Thursday. That looked like the most I don't know. I mean, it was scary, my scariness.
Yes, it's very intense. I think a truly unified council for Wellington City is not possible. I think a majority is, but not the entire council.
Do you think that you can do a better job than you're doing right now in uniting them?
Absolutely, and that's what I did on Friday in terms of rebuilding relationships back with certain councillors, and that's what I'm focused on.
Tory Whanau, Wellington Mayor, thanks for taking the time out and fronting for the show today. Appreciate it. Good luck with building that unity in that council. It scared me. 7 minutes to 11.
Busy running late for important thing, busy taking wrong exit, but not too busy to notice this offer. Buy a new state comprehensive car policy online and get $50 off. State, see website for T&Cs.
Visit goodhomeproducts.co.nz and watch the online video that everyone's sharing. It's about a proven DIY product called Curtain Wizard. It removes mold instantly from your